I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 7th, 2017 meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, are there, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, consider motion to approve claims to be paid as presented. Can I have a motion to approve the claims?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion?
I got one, but I'll wait until the sheriff's, or when we get to the sheriff's. None of them are here.
Okay, should we delay that?
We can approve it.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor of approving the claims as presented, say aye.
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 Okay, opposed, nay. Public forum and visitors. Would you like to introduce yourselves, please?
Oh, Tate Merchant?
Okay.
He's on the agenda.
Huh?
He's on the agenda.
Who's on it?
Randy's up there, no?
No, he's just on.
Who'd you ask me
For your name.
for? Oh. Can't hear.
Okay. All right.
You don't need to come up yet, Ernie.
Pardon?
He was just wondering who you were.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
and then, you're not. Okay. Okay. All right.
Even if you can't hear.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Treasurer's office?
Handed out my monthly report. Did change the look of it a little bit, same information. Chance to look at it, if there's any questions.
We're actually up a little bit from last year.
No, we're down.
No. The tax collection is down.
Tax.
The total fund balance is up.
Oh, yes, the total fund balance. I was looking at the taxes.
So the taxes are just people that haven't paid them yet, or?
Correct.
Because notices have been sent out, but they're late, or?
Yes, they were. We'll be advertising that in December. Do you guys want me to put the prior taxes in like I did last year, or you want just the current year taxes?
Prior.
That's just what you did last year, right?
I can do that.
That's all yours? That's quite a publishing cost.
Huge or what?
We put it in the last 2 years that way, but we can put current year in, or we can put all years in. It's really a commissioner's call.
I don't know, how much was the difference?
I don't remember.
Was it substantial?
Well, each one gets charged. I'd have to go look it up and tell you. We do bill them to advertise.
And then that doesn't get paid either.
Or would you have time just to see what it really is gonna cost? And
Sure.
then make that decision?
Sure.
We just put it for next meeting.
Sure. When does it have to be in by?
The Monday, or the Wednesday before the third Monday in December. So, second week of December. When's the next meeting?
The fifth,
Okay.
it'll be fine for that one.
Okay. Anything else?
Can you tell me, is there a lot of repeats?
There's
Yes.
every year.
Well, that's not what I mean.
Yes, there's,
Make sure knows whatever.
Anything else?
we will be taking the property in Selby here, that number 4551 in December. Just a heads up.
Yeah, when in December? Yeah.
What's
On the
that?
5th.
Did you put that in here?
No, I didn't. That's the one that
What's the
applicant asked
address
me.
or?
I get it for you.
Okay.
How soon does the county wanna address that property then, once we take it? So I think there's a pretty good chance that it can get sold for some funds, right, Nyla?
I don't know how you do that. I just take the property.
But there has been some inquiry, right, of that property or not?
There's been several inquiries as soon as you put it in the paper on all the
Oh,
property.
okay.
Yeah.
So do you want us to turn around and try and flip that as quickly as possible?
I think so.
So once we take it, just give it to me, Nyla, and
Okay.
we'll run and try and get it sold.
Okay.
There's gonna be an auction and stuff again.
Yep.
Can we, if you're gonna talk, would you either talk out loud or not at all?
She didn't ask me a question.
Okay. All right, anything else, Mel?
We have 2 partial payments
Okay.
request.
Okay. Consider a motion for approval of partial payment for record 5350.
That'd be Tate.
How we doing? Yeah, I'd just like to, I can't pay $150 a month on this property. Some of the taxes were owed by her. I'll have to claim them from her to help pay it.
Okay.
The 1 year, I was talking with her, it was sent to a different address, wasn't sent to me, so I never seen payments on this. All I wanna do is get it taken care of. I will send lump payments throughout the year and stuff.
So you wanna do $150
$50
a
a
month?
month.
Okay, when do you wanna start that, Tate?
Whenever you guys want to. We can start next month, don't matter.
January 1st,
Yeah, that'll work too.
December 1st?
Why don't you said next month?
Okay.
Yeah, I
Is
can
December
start in
1st,
December,
okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
I
and
just
then
wanna
if you
get
want to make more, that's
going.
fine, but we just wanna get you on a plan where
Yeah,
there
exactly.
won't be any default
Yep.
that way. So we will, is that acceptable to the county commission?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Is the first of the month a good time?
Towards the end would be better, but it don't matter.
Pick a date.
I'll pay it when you guys want me to.
We wanna make it
You pick the day.
as workable as possible for you.
25th then.
Okay.
Okay, how about if we just do there's a 30th of the month, is it, well, let's do 25th, yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
even though December 25th will be.
yeah, I'll send it before then.
25th of every month, starting December 25th.
We have to have a motion.
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the $150 a month payment from Tate Merchant?
I'll make the motion to accept the 150.
Second?
Second.
Motion has been made and second to approve Tate Merchant's $150 a month. Any discussion?
I just wanna get a clarification, it looks like, Tate, that your only taxes that were actually yours
Last
were
year.
last year.
Yes,
The
and that's
rest were-
when we were talking about it, it was actually sent, it was supposed to be my old address in Mound City, but it never got sent back to the right sender or whatever, so I never did see it.
But the previous years were all
Dunwoody's.
when
Yeah.
you purchased the property.
Yeah,
You thought
and that's
were-
why we were just talking about that is, I'm gonna have to go talk to the lawyers and stuff on that and try to collect that. Cause I was paying the taxes out there, she was supposed to be taking care of them here.
And that's what I wanted to make sure is the group
And
was
when everything was
informed that.
final, it was supposed to be taken care of, but apparently it wasn't, but.
And I wanna make sure the group was aware of that there was a delinquency when he purchased it.
Dates are actually current,
Correct,
right, the rest are hers.
which you did not know about.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen a payment until last year in April, but before April, whenever you sent them out, that's the first payment I seen was this year's taxes. So, the one was, that's in my name there, was sent to a different address, and I never received it.
That's all I had to put.
Yeah,
All right, okay. Anything else, Dave?
no, that should be good,
Okay, thanks very much.
appreciate you guys.
Do we vote?
Stick around just a little bit?
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
can we have a vote on that? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Okay.
And then you told him you just said no.
I bet my typed up, you're still efficient.
Okay, consider motion to approve a partial payment for record 5632.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Don Mahar. The same, I would like to ask for $150 a month payment. I fell behind due to a car accident 3 years ago when I lived over in Illinois.
When do you wanna start to make that?
I
first
could start
payment done?
on the 5th of December, on the 5th or thereabouts each month. And also I could, I am working now. I've had 3 operations in the last year and a half, but I am back to work. So there would be an opportunity to make larger payments.
So the proposal would be then $150 a month, beginning the 5th of December, and then the 5th of every month thereafter.
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve $150 a month from Don Mahar until paid off. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good day.
Okay, consider motion to purchase the GPS unit for weed department.
You guys are up.
Morning.
We are here with the weed board, being that when Shannon was hired, and there wasn't a job description, we started establishing some means of what she can or cannot do. We are looking at a tracking device, a GPS model, so that we can go down and pick up everything up and down the road where she's been spraying the time of the day she's been spraying. For time, we are utilizing flex time and comp time. And at the end of each day, she will email the board and let us know what's been going on. Gene's been looking into the GPS model, so I'll let him talk about it.
GPS, we're not gonna be able to see exact roads. But we'll be able to track, be able to print out each night, be able to see where and what is getting done, where the truck's been. The truck is actually where it's supposed to be, and prove her time a little better. It's gonna cost $2,000 to $3,000. They're thinking $2,250. So it'll be the lower 2,000. Utilize it to more control, more to see where she's been, what's going on. If we have a spray issue with a neighbor saying we sprayed, we can prove we were there or not there. Help with liability on that end. It's something we maybe should have considered doing a while ago. There's a couple other weed boards around the state that have done it and using it. I don't know that they're using the exact one that we're looking at, but it'll help tremendously.
Anybody have any questions on that?
You don't think anything's getting done now, or
We
what brought this?
have questions on time, if she's really where she says she is. And we get a lot of complaints that nobody's seeing her, and there's a lot of weeds yet in the ditch. Now whether or not she went by, they didn't see her, that's a possibility. But we do have a weed problem, tremendously, it's changed. Some of it's because of the pickup last year, we didn't get done what we should have as much, which is a trouble. We just gotta get ahead of this and, get just, better informed. I mean, so we all know more of what's going on, where she's been. It'll prove better. So if we have questions from the community or somebody complaining, we can go right back into the program, say, hey, she was there this day, that was done. I'm not saying she hasn't been spraying. We know she's missed some spots, but you know, you're not gonna get them all. Nobody's gonna get them all, but, this'll help. And then, she'll be able to put on there, trouble spots, be able to mark them. So then like the next year, it'll show right there, hey, I sprayed in this spot for this. She can go right back there and hit it the same. Help dampen the weeds a little better.
Well, with the software that's in those GPS, that can be pulled out and downloaded in the computer every night because it can't be stored. But it'll be fresh all the time.
Just put out a USB card or that little, I'm not a computer guy, but that little memory thing. So,
Will it show what's been sprayed to?
oh yes.
The chemical? Which chemical is sprayed on what?
I don't think they can do that. She can go in and actually do that herself, type it in. All the thing's gonna do is when she turns the boom on, it'll put a strip, color the board, so to speak, and then, you know, it'll show that she sprayed that spot around this time. We did have a situation earlier this year where somebody thought we sprayed their beans. It wasn't us, it was a neighbor cross thing. So it'll cover us for that, because we could go right back in there, and if she wasn't there, we can prove it. So,
I think chemical has something to do with some of the weed issues too.
Could
You're
have.
allowed to spray some chemicals on county roads and still have the wormwood.
yeah, we have a wormwood problem up in a gravel pit that we're addressing now too. It is in the back of our minds and in our meeting for taking care of our plan for next spring. But this GPS will help tremendously as far as countywide.
Now, is that in your budget, or where's this money, what are you planning here, I guess, or?
It wasn't budgeted because we gotta have all that, the way I understand is we budget for this next year in, is it August? This is because we've had a lot of complaints. We've gotta figure out a way to pull it someplace else out of our budget.
Ken, you have an updated budget, please?
But we gotta do something.
I think the money is there, it's just we gotta shift, amend some of the part, where the money's going.
Yeah.
I don't have that budget sheet here, you never
They're
thought
getting
all
it right
that.
now.
So that GPS unit you're talking about, you've only looked at one. Have you looked at more than one to compare like the price and everything?
That's the only one I've seen so far. It's through, Pro Ag in, Aberdeen. We have another board member that was gonna look at a couple others. So I mean, we're gonna check a little more. We're just getting a feel and idea for it for now. I mean, we got time before we need to put it in. They're all gonna be pretty close the same. They've come down tremendously, since they were first established, but we do have to check on some more. This is just a ballpark, more or less.
So do you think you'd even have a decision before the end of the year?
As to which one to go with, maybe not. The only thing we've for sure decided is we need something. We've got till spring, I mean, for spraying purposes, so we could check around quite a bit more to see if we're gonna get find a little cheaper one or whatever. But, the only thing we really decided is that we really would like and need and could utilize it.
Is that installed or?
That
what
is
modific-
installed.
what Any modifications has to
They'll
be
do
done to the
some
truck?
similar
or-
training, won't they?
Yeah, they'll come out, they'll show us how to do it, they'll put it in, wire it in, it's pretty simple. It plugs into the cigarette lighter, and then they'll wire it into the spray unit, so when the switch comes on, it'll turn on the coloring on the map and whatnot.
I think it's an asset to the department to get, to accomplish that.
Have you guys kind of been talking about this for a while?
One meeting.
One meeting, but we've been thinking about it, it's not,
We tried to come up with a plan. Where it started out was we were getting into trouble both sides of the issue because there was no job description. And we had we backed up and started from square one. Finding out what the role of the weed board was, we found out we had more authority than we realized. So,
and when the hiring was done, the job was, how it was listed was pretty vague. I mean, so we need to set rules and expectations on both sides.
What's the state's recommendation, being they're the ones that, have the majority of her, that's where her paycheck comes from, is only about 20, if I remember right, I think only about 25% of it comes up, her paycheck for weeds comes out of the county. Everything else is coming from the grant from the state.
What?
Isn't that right?
What?
The majority of her paycheck comes out of a grant from the state?
My understanding is 50%.
Not for weeds at all.
50% is weed board, 50% is for that,
emergency management.
yeah, emergency management.
Yeah.
And we're only concerned on our end.
well, that's the only thing we have control over.
Yeah, it's the only thing we have control of. The emergency management, that's your guys' thing, you oversee it, I assume.
Yeah, some of her pay comes from Warhawk and stuff on emergency management, but weeds says it's all county.
Good.
And it does look like if it was purchased before the end of the year, there would be enough in this year's budget. So if possible, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
But
That'll give you kind of an idea of what you wanna do then.
Well, we have another meeting set up on second Wednesday of December, I think it's 13th. We're gonna, I'm sure, as long as it's okay by the board, the money's there, I'm sure we can come to a decision and get it rolling, so that way we have it in this year,
Okay.
if that needs to be done. I don't think that'd be a problem.
It just needs to be purchased, doesn't it, Becky?
yeah, it doesn't have to be installed.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, we can have that set up or what, we're just, keeping you in the loop, informing you, not trying to make any hard feelings or step on anybody's toes, so to speak.
How's that sound?
If you guys are good with it, we're ready to go.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that?
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, that's what you need.
So is the next yeah. Jim,
Yes.
For the next item on the agenda was discussion regarding weed department record keeping. Is that part of this GPS discussion?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Penny?
Morning.
The only thing I have is my monthly report, October monthly report, and I got any questions on that.
But I went through it once already.
He said he didn't Questions?
Are part-timers, seasonal ones done now, or are they?
We done this week. That's all I have.
Easy day, Penny.
Huh?
Easy day.
Josh?
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Good.
That's good. Just the monthly reports, you guys, for the jail and sheriff's office. That's all I got today. Kevin, we're still working on that itemized list that you asked me about on the maintenance part. We're trying to put that together for the kind of pinpoint, so you have an idea what we're actually needing over there, or should be replaced or fixed. Ryan, did you have a good discussion with the camera guys?
Still hasn't gotten back to me. It's James,
It'll
it's gonna take a
take
while.
over. Okay.
Yeah, he did come on like at 11. We think we got a plan, I'm just waiting for some prices.
Any other questions?
And if you have a person said you rectified that, the drive off, so.
That'd make that a lot easier than me having to try and chase somebody down the highway if I had some cameras.
At least they came back and took care of it.
Could we get a deal breakdown of how many these inmates are ours and how many are out of county?
Yeah, I can start doing that for you.
Anything else?
I do have one.
We have, it has been high lately, but there's always a shift, but I'll have Tom work on that for you and get that, make sure that's part of this report. It shouldn't be too hard to break it down. Dale's already doing it, so.
My only thing is, do we really need to get them Boston butts from West Side Meats to eat?
That was because of the, I guess, price of hamburger and stuff as far as the meat. On hamburger and stuff, so I'm gonna try and get what's cheapest, so.
Can't, I know the food trucks are cheaper than West Side.
Can certainly look into that, but no, we don't have to.
Okay, it was just, first time I seen one from West Side Meats.
Well, I just happened to, I think it was 2 ads ago, I seen the price in there. And priced it out, you know, with the other prices that we're buying the meat from. And so,
Okay.
I just wanna say.
but that's no problem. We can look into that more, Kevin, and try and get best pricing on it, but even if it, I don't know what it is off truck, I guess you don't either, because Justin takes care of that part, but.
I thought that the National Institute of Correction Planning of New Institutions was very informative this last week. It was a good session.
It was.
Don't you think so, Melissa?
It was good information. I know Becky was there, she enjoyed it. I got him to move the, I don't know how much he enjoyed it, but it's numbers, but, she had to be gone obviously for volleyball, but we were able to move the financial stuff around to where she was able to in about 10 minutes, so.
I guess I got a question, Josh. Since when did we have to start hiring a cook now? Why would something change now?
Because of the alleviation of the correctional staff, that's part of Brad's recommendation.
It's a
is to-
recommendation.
as to what the duties are of the COs and make sure if they're doing more inmate care.
But I mean, where do you just get all this money and all of a sudden you just make another position? That's
We
what I
didn't
mean,
make another position, we've.
well, if
utilized
Patty is
one of
gonna
the
be,
5.
you're gonna replace Patty, my guess. So then I must be looking at it wrong if that's not creating another position. How could it not be? I mean, I'm not quite sure where the money all of a sudden just comes from there, because when you, in the middle of the year, all of a sudden you come up with another position.
It's not, again, it's not really another position, she's still one of the 5 that we hired additionally.
Her job is only. I didn't know we hired a cook.
We did it to keep an employee, and I might be speaking out of turn because you directed it to Josh, but we did it to kind of keep Patty on board. And Patty got overwhelmed working with the inmates. So it was our understanding that we were gonna use that full-time correctional spot for to cook, do laundry, and change females in and out. And we could be wrong, and if that's the case, we can let it go.
Well, tell me if I'm wrong, but you had told us a while back that you had all 5 of them spots filled. I'm pretty sure we can go back in the video where you said those were filled. Now, how can you be saying that you're using Patty for that position? When that would be 6. I guess you're just losing me somewhere in this whole transaction deal, because you said a while back that you had all 5 filled. This just transpired, I think, just lately. So.
That's fine.
So, I mean.
I still think we're in the same realm as a number as far as what we hired because of 2 of 1 leaving. So.
Well, let's just check to make sure and then we'll have to get this on.
Well, then it needs to be checked. It looks to me like there's one more person.
Anything else, John?
Nope.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ryan?
More and more person in town.
Pass these around, please. That's all it is. Most you should have got this in your email. It's the same thing that I sent out. Just the second paragraph of section 6.5 to clarify about that HSA contribution beginning January 1st.
I'll make a motion to accept the change in policy.
Any second to that?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Pass.
There was some discussion about maybe wanting to make some other changes, so, you wanna go run with that, Jamie?
Well, I was just having a question, I don't know if it
Uh-huh.
piggybacks onto you, but the question is how we're going to treat new employees. Is that, or is that a whole nother thing?
As far as with the HSA?
Yeah.
It does kind of speak to that in there.
Okay.
With the employee has to have completed his or her probationary period prior to the deposit date for the HSA contribution, otherwise they miss out on it for that year.
So basically the rule, and this is just for my clarification, because I don't understand a lot of that, but, so basically, the standard probationary period is what, 3 months? So once you're on for 3 months, then are we gonna deposit the full, or a prorated portion depending upon the number of months?
I think we decided against that at the last
Do it
meeting.
once a year.
Once a year,
Okay.
yeah.
First, second of January.
Okay, so if you're hired after the 1st of January, you will not get that deposit until the next
Yeah.
year. Okay,
Right.
that's what I just wanted to make sure that's where we're at, so.
There was other discussion on the borrowing sick
Hey,
leave.
Dave,
Yeah?
I got a question, I think it's just for clarification. We're not going to put $1,000 into the employee's account for their spouse or anyone else on their plan, are we?
No. Are we?
No, it's just 1,000 total. That's just for
1,000,
employees.
yeah. That's what I thought, but I thought, I had somebody ask me that, and I thought, just bring it up for clarification, yeah, we're not gonna put in 1,000 for our employee and 1,000 for our spouse.
No, just 1,000 for the employee.
Yeah, yep, okay, thank you.
There was discussion on the borrowing sick leave. We've always had it where you have to have all your vacation, all your benefits used up before you can borrow sick leave from someone else. When the policy was rewritten, it was, I don't know if it was an overlook,
Probably, yeah.
but it says in there now just you have to be out of sick leave. So then you got somebody banking up vacation and borrowing sick leave from someone else. And that's not the way it's intended. So we were discussing changing that back to all benefits exhausted instead of just sick leave. The way,
I
the
think
way
that's the way it probably
That's
should.
normally
Yeah,
is.
that's the way I would enforce the policy as
Yeah.
well.
The policy does not clearly, doesn't state that at this time. It just says sick leave.
Okay, well, then I'm gonna
So,
enforce something we didn't.
We talked
Well,
about
I have
changing
that
that.
too.
And then Jim was there, we discussed possibly putting a time limit on when we could rehire an employee. Jim?
Yep. We visited about it, I guess, I don't know, I didn't visit with anybody else. I guess I don't really know what the answer should be.
Yeah, I just, to bring it up for discussion, if we wanna change that, then Ryan can add it for the next one, so.
I think this kind of prevents somebody from quitting just to cash out their sick leave and vacation and then getting rehired again right away. Prevents that scenario from occurring because, you know, if somebody has a bunch of vacation built up and a bunch of sick built up, right now as the policy is written, they could quit one day, you know, with, if they get it approved through their supervisor, they could quit for a week, get all that benefit paid out to them, and then be rehired right away. And
That's
I
not
don't
right.
think that's right either, no.
We did have an occurrence, it was 28 hours,
Right.
Say, when did this happen?
so we think we should possibly put something in the manual to make it so that is not possible anymore. Like 90 days, something,
Or 6 months or something.
6 months, yeah.
I think it's, if, on the retirement end of it, I think you have to be unemployed by this employer for 3 months. Otherwise, it affects your retirement. It used to be that they could, retire and be collecting their retirement and get hired back on and continue. Now they've changed that statewide, so that's like.
On the
3
state retirement system.
3 months,
3 months.
'Cause that's a lot of paperwork that gets done,
yeah.
a lot.
So, yeah, after 3 months, you can be rehired and, you know what I mean, but there is that waiting period.
I think that would be my recommendation, is to go with whatever SDRS uses for that guideline, if it's 3 months or
I'm
whatever.
pretty sure
it
it's
is, yeah.
3 months, it's easy to find out, I
Yep.
just called them, so.
I would say wait a year and then they have to start their probation period over.
Well, they did start the probation period over.
I think that's a given, anytime you switch positions or are rehired or anything, the policy basically reads that you can enforce a new probationary period, so.
Right, when you do this, I don't know how to, this to pick up one page. So when you do this and send it out, could you just do the page that you're talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Cause I got the 55 pages, and, and it's the same thing, all except for this.
Sure, yeah,
And
no
that's,
problem.
Because I don't know how to just pick this page
Mhm.
out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Unless it changes the page numbers, if it pulls into the next page.
Right, and I generally, when I do changes like this, I'll just send out a whole new policy, like I sent the draft to you guys, I'll send out a whole new policy. Just because sometimes it does shift that page order if I write in an extra paragraph. And then a lot of times when I send out the draft, I try to highlight things so that you can, it makes it a little bit more apparent, but
Just print it into a PDF for that specific page.
yeah, I can do that, yep.
So have you any idea on what number of days you're gonna go with, or?
I think minimum should be 3 months.
Follow the state policy on that.
It'd be,
State was SDRS.
it'd be good to have it agreed by this group
Yep.
before he puts it in the policy, rather than puts it in the policy and then you.
After he changes it, they'll have to make a motion to approve it anyway.
Correct.
I can run with that then.
You know which direction I'm leaning.
I don't know, for 6 months. They're gonna quit, why would we hire them back in the first place? I would say a minimum of 6 months.
This scenario, it wasn't done intentionally to take advantage of it, this instance that we're talking about, but it just kind of showed us a lapse in our policy that we should probably address, so.
Can you look up the state?
Yep.
Have we voted on this? We have to.
No, was there a vote on that one, Jamie?
On the, change to the policy? No.
Okay. All those in favor of the change to the policy?
I don't think we made a motion.
Yeah, I don't even think we made a
Yeah.
motion. Did we?
Bogart and Miller.
No.
Just not a vote.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the change in policy. Any other discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, approved. Okay, discussion regarding health insurance benefits.
A little early, Jesse's supposed to be here.
He is.
He is.
Oh, he is here, okay.
I'll go grab him real quick.
Thanks, Jamie. Just kind of for on the record discussion, he's gonna be around most of the day, so if you have any in-depth questions, if you wanna sit in on Q&A or whatever, we can do that, but I figured since we have quorum now, we probably want to not have a quorum all day, we should probably try and answer any on the record questions now and then take it from there.
Good morning.
Well, health insurance. This year, the county was looking at about a 18.9% rate increase on the old plan that was getting non-renewed by Wellmark, not anything that Key Insurance did, not anything. It's just, Wellmark relooks at their plans every year, and every year they pick a pool of plans that they choose to offer. And unfortunately, the one that we had last year was one that got on the chopping block this year. The interesting part is while that was going on, our county employee level increased enough to allow us into what's called mid-market. Basically, we can offer a whole lot more plans that are out there to try to figure out what our budget was. Ryan and I started working on this in September, looking at different things, what's available, what's out there. There was close to probably 38 plans that were offered because of the size of employment, the number of employees that we have now, which is fantastic. It definitely opens up some options. Sometimes doesn't help with the health insurance premium side still. In discussing with Ryan, the one option that's out there that I personally like is that health savings account or HSA plan. Did you want me to go into how that works? Okay, so health savings accounts, I can tell you, Key Insurance, that's what we offer as a group plan. The beauty about it is it drops our ceiling, our out-of-pocket max. Something bad happens, how much we're gonna pay to buy a lot. This year would have been $7,150 for single, $14,400 for family. It drops it down to the one we're proposing to $2,500 or $5,000 for family. The other beautiful part about it, in my opinion, is employees could choose to take money out of their check, pre-tax, put it into a health savings account, and choose to pay their medical bills with pre-tax dollars, which is a big deal in my opinion. I mean, I enjoy paying my taxes like anybody else, but I try not paying as more than I need to. So that's the great thing about an HSA. The hard part, the part that is tough about transitioning to an HSA plan is when we're used to paying co-pays, when we're used to paying different ways of paying for our treatments, that's a hard transition. So what do I mean by that? If we go to the clinic for an ear infection, we're used to paying a $30 copay, $35 copay, whatever that copay was. Or now we get billed for the cost of service. And say it could be $100, $120, whatever that amount is. That part of it is hard. That part is a little bit of a transition. And for us, my personal family, it was the same way. The other part that's a little different is on prescription coverage. I'll use the example of there's a drug out there called Ralpax. It's used for migraines. Usually it's a $35 copay for 6 pills. If you go, well, not anymore, it's generic, thankfully, but if you went and got it a year ago, it was $240 for that drug. You pay the actual cost of whatever that script is. Again, everything that happens down here, your office visits, your prescriptions, all go to that ceiling, all go to that $2,500 out-of-pocket max / deductible. It's all the same, or $5,000 for family. In my opinion, it allows for better control of what's medically necessary. Meaning, if my son's got a sniffle, it's a lot easier to go in and take him in for a $25 copay versus a $120 office visit. We might see how it works out. The big thing is that it was a significant savings on the to the county as well, moving to an HSA. So that's the long and the short of it. Groups across the board, all that we do. The largest increase that we had was 28%. The lowest we had was 7%. But it's just the world that we live in right now.
On the max, Jesse, so
Yeah.
the max for an individual is how much?
Out-of-pocket max is $2,500.
And then family is?
$5.
And then if the county is putting $1,000 per year in that HSA account,
Mm-hmm.
actually that would drop your max by another 1,000.
Yes.
Okay, so realistically, if the count, so January starts,
Mm-hmm.
my family deductible is 5,000.
Mhm.
The county's proposal is to put $1,000 in my HSA account starting January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So I would exhaust that, then my rest of my out-of-pocket before my deductible is met would be an additional 4,000.
4,000, correct.
Okay.
Which is very, I think that's a great
So-
plan, a great way of transitioning to an HSA, and it's great that you guys are looking at doing that $1,000 deposit into a health savings account for your employees. I think it'll definitely help with the transition. The goal with an HSA, in my opinion, is to have that thing funded. Have that thing funded in 2.5 years, meaning have enough in my health savings account to fund what my out-of-pocket max is. Or you can choose to contribute more. For single, it's $3,350 next year. For family, it's $6,250, what you can contribute pre-tax.
So how does Key or other places handle how much a person puts in every month? Can you change it every month?
My opinion would be on that, Becky, given the number of employees that you have, I can see it on the payroll side. It might be a little tough to make it, it's where you can just kind of pick and choose when you want to pick. My opinion would be to pick an amount, start January 1, that's what the amount is, and if there's an extremely special circumstance, then maybe look at doing something different. I'll give you a prime example. For me personally, we switched to an HSA and Kyler was born 3 years ago, in February. I had no money in my HSA account. What I did is I negotiated with the hospital and said, this is what I can afford. And then I took the cash out pre-tax, my monthly payment, turned around and sent that money to the county. So our healthcare providers are good too.
Could we though establish, like, once the HSA's been in there, and I think this kind of answers Becky's question, is there is a window when you can make changes to your amount of deduction.
Mhm.
I think that would eliminate a lot of your problem where whatever your slowest month of the year is, that would be the month where we can make changes to our HSA and do that annually. Is that kind of what you were looking at?
That would be better than changing.
I think you would want to limit
Yeah.
people changing their HSA contribution, because that's gonna be a payroll problem every payday, because someone could come in. But I've seen other employers where they have huge numbers of employees where they limit when you can make changes to your dental, like in this particular case, HSA and optometry, stuff like that, where there's say a 30-day window, the month of April every year is when you can make changes. Other than that, unless there's an emergency, you can't make changes to that amount. That way, you're locked in for a year. And I think that would alleviate your problem. That's kind of what your concern is, isn't it?
I would agree with that concern, especially with the number of employees. And the other thing that's important to note on a HSA, that's hard dollars, meaning that gets carried over year after year after year. If you offered flex before, it would be you had to use it or lose it. It's a bona fide savings account. That's your dollars. It's just going to sit there and roll over and roll over and roll over if you don't use it, which is okay. That's what it's there for. I just always like making the distinction between a flex account and an HSA account. It's two totally different beasts.
So what stops someone from using that money that the commissioners put in for Christmas?
Nothing. They just pay the piper to the federal government if they get audited. That's the best I can tell you. There's absolutely.
It's a lot, because it's taxes plus penalties.
Yeah, taxes plus penalties.
That's like 50% or something
Yeah.
like that.
There absolutely nothing's gonna stop it. But that's onus, and if, I've heard of stories where a snowblower was chosen to be purchased with an HSA and they got caught and it wasn't a good situation.
So it's up to everybody to go to their bank and get an HSA account established at their bank.
Yes, and I'm a visual guy, so just to prove that I'm not blowing You just go, and this isn't an endorsement for any bank, that's my disclaimer. You can go to any bank, you're gonna get a debit card, and it says HSA right there on there, or there might be a cross, or something that distincts this. So when you're going to pay for gas, you don't grab this debit card. Some HSA accounts will allow you to write some checks out of. Mine does, and some I know others do. I actually have set up e-bill with mine to send out automatic payments, just like you would do e-pay through your checking account to your providers if need be. So it's a bona fide bank account. You've got to go in and have a beneficiary. You've got to, it's just like setting up another bank account. So.
If someone spends the money on something else, there's no liability to the county, correct?
Zero liability to the county. Good question.
Anybody else have any questions?
Is it pretty liberal on what is considered a medical expense under your HSA?
Not yet. Right now, what's considered a medical expense would be dental care, vision care, including frames, your office visits, and anything, in a clinic, chiropractic care, that area. What I do see, if you follow anything at the national level, they want to expand what HSAs can be used for, over-the-counter medicines, bandages, all that little stuff. Right now you can't, so that's my disclaimer, don't use your HSA for that stuff yet. But if you follow what's going on at the federal level, that's one thing they're really looking at is expanding HSAs. What I've seen over the last 2 to 3 years is a transition from the traditional copay plans, higher deductible plans, higher out-of-pocket plans into these HSAs because we're dropping that ceiling from $7,100 on single to $2,500. Not that $2,500 isn't a lot of money, but there's a $5,000 difference almost between that. We have a discussion over at the treasurer's side. We have a client that's on an HSA, and she gets one shot in January. She hit she has a $2,000 out-of-pocket max. She doesn't see a medical bill the rest of the year. It just is taken care of. And that's the beautiful part about an HSA.
Do you know, with HSAs compared to our regular insurance we have this year, does that change anything on pre-authorized treatments?
It's still in network. It's still the Blue Cross Blue Shield. None of that's changed. The one question I've gotten from some employees is the benefit of the 23 essential health benefits, the colonoscopies, the mammograms for over 50, the preventative services. That's still embedded. That's still embedded in this plan. I'm always a little cautious saying that's covered 100%, but usually those kind of services are covered 100%, yet at no cost to the employee. And what I do find sometimes is, if we have a mammogram or colonoscopy, and then we have to do a follow-up because they might have found something and then found something, then that stuff starts getting charged. But usually the first one should be taken care of. So.
Anybody else?
And we're gonna do informational meetings with employees today to kind of get everybody updated and probably have the same conversation that we just had to let everybody know, because it's a big transition. But, I'm confident, I know Ryan's confident, when we looked at the numbers with the premiums and that kind of stuff, this is a great way to go, both from a fiscal side and then from an employee side.
I'm just trying to figure out how we're gonna do that $1,000. So my software is not gonna allow that, for it to be still on their W-2.
Call and see if any other counties are doing it, if any other counties doing HSA.
It don't matter if it's pre-tax, it still shows up. Unless we just put it on their paychecks. I don't know.
And then do a split to, if you can split the direct deposit between different accounts.
the administration of it, getting it started, is gonna be a little bit of Bearcat. I mean, what I have seen some employers do, and I'm not familiar with your software, but what I do see, when they do, an initial deposit like that would be what, basically for that month, everybody would have $1,000 increase, and then they take $1,000 out and direct deposit into the HSA account that was established.
Yeah, I just don't know how to split the payment, but I'll figure it, I'll look into it.
Where we at with our vision?
I have been texting and visiting with Vision this morning. It sounds like we sent a check out on the 17th. I asked principal this morning to see if they will reinstate without receiving the check. I haven't heard anything back from billing yet on them.
Not what I wanted to hear,
I know.
Our, just so everybody knows, our vision insurance was canceled 31st of October. I had my eye exam on Friday. They tried to get into the system. They couldn't get into the system with my code off my card or my social security number. So she called the company, and the company informed her that our insurance, our vision insurance, was canceled, terminated the 31st of October. So right now, nobody has vision insurance. And my glasses are on hold till this gets straightened out. I have big time trouble with this. This county entity, my God, they're gonna get their money. But they terminated everybody's vision insurance on the 31st of October.
So
I'm not a happy camper.
And I can understand that, and I'd want to address that, is that it'd be no different than on a homeowner's policy or an auto's policy, or it doesn't matter what type of insurance is there. If a company doesn't receive the payment, and I know it's hard with withholding and with employees, and then when the commissioner's meeting and getting paid, so I don't know if we can come up with a solution on that.
Once we get this straightened out, we are gonna start doing it on the first paycheck, just like the dental.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
there shouldn't be an issue after it's straightened out.
Okay.
But that means that if you have family vision, it's all coming out of the first paycheck right along with your dental, which it's not much, like $17, I think.
Okay.
So all the employees are gonna have to be aware of that, but that's about gonna be our only way to avoid this again. Just because of the way payroll lands.
Should I just go ahead and pay for my glasses?
No, they'll backdate it.
It'd be easier if payroll was once a month, wouldn't it be?
Oh, yes, it would.
Maybe let's go there.
I think that's on the agenda further down.
Anything else for me?
Your dad didn't raise no dummy, did he?
No.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
Because the only other option would be is to pay it ahead, right, Jesse?
Correct, would be to pay ahead, and then that would be, yeah.
Which we could do the second paychecks of every month for the next month.
Mm-hmm.
That would alleviate the problem from happening, though. So if you paid ahead, the problem would be then just pulling the money back out on their last paycheck, if they ever quit or retired, right?
Or we'd have to,
We could pay it ahead, you know what I mean, like where, instead of paying every month, we could pay every month in advance, but then the county would basically be fronting that payment for the month in advance, but that's gonna alleviate the problem of us being canceled because a payment came in late.
no, cause it'd still have to come out of paychecks, cause of the benefit. So like right now, just like today, I can't go and write them a check
Okay,
and have the commissioners approve it.
That was my
because then it
question.
wouldn't go on W-2s.
so basically we can't pay in advance then.
If we did, it'd come out of their paychecks. If we were paying in advance and if somebody quit, then we'd have to reimburse them.
Okay, so it'd have to be out of the employees' paychecks, not the county's,
Right.
okay.
Yep.
I'll be around for all employees or commissioners. I've got a meeting at the highway department at 1, right? And then we'll be answering questions for everybody, but, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll have some answers.
I always have answers, Betty, just not good ones
Right.
Ryan?
That's true.
think everybody should have a copy of the report, if you have any questions about that.
Anybody have any questions on it?
And if not, that's all I got today.
Do we have to prove it? And consider motion to release taxes on county ceased property record 5176.
There's a typo there. Basically, I had this put on, we did take or actually the treasurer did take a property, it's 5176. There is currently, is this number right, Nyla?
There should be two numbers
There's
on there.
two.
Right, which we have to waive before we turn around and sell it. So basically what I need is a motion to remove the taxes on the property before we turn around and sell it. Because we haven't sold it yet, have we?
That one's already sold.
Okay, so this one's already sold? So we need to waive these to comply with our statutory requirement to remove the taxes.
Record 4117.
Correct?
5176 and 5177, is that the ones you're talking about, Jamie?
Yeah.
Yep. For a total of, what did you have, Mr. Seaman,
4117.
Does that sound right, Nyla? 4117
This one?
Yep.
Yours has a different number than mine does.
I got 2689 and 5409.
That's not what I have.
That's just 1 year, right?
Yeah, we have all different years
There's
split out here.
Oh, it's a multiple year and everybody's got a year, that's why I'm like, let's everybody hand those back in and we have to waive the whole amount, which would be back taxes.
Let's just make a motion to remove the
Back
back
taxes.
taxes on records 5176 and 5177.
Everybody took them as one piece was a copy for them and it's actually one whole document. That's why all the numbers are different.
So
Can we
what-
have the
what
motion
do we
cover the
have,
one we're taking?
What?
Have the motion cover the one that she's taking too? And that, get
We'll
that
do
one
two
done.
separate ones, yes.
What is the totals?
Can you go around a total?
Again,
5176 and 5177.
yeah.
I don't have 5177.
Nobody does.
That's because everybody had a piece handed out.
And they're all 5176. She'll run totals for both.
And then also we'll have to run totals for the one that we're taking. This,
4551.
is that what it is not, or? Yep,
So
4551.
we're gonna do a motion on that one, maybe too?
Actually, it's not on the calendar, so we should probably put it on the calendar for next meeting.
We don't even have 5177 on the record either. All we have is 5176.
True, we should probably,
Guys, table it and do it next meeting.
yes.
Table it entirely.
Table the whole thing,
Yeah.
5176 and
Yeah,
77?
We could do 5176.
Might as well just do them all together, that
Yeah,
way
do them
now
all
I can get
together
us
and
a
it won't be such a
fixed
headache.
amount as
So
of,
then you're gonna do 5176, 5177, and 4551?
yep.
Yep, all
So
in
we'll
the
put
next
that
meeting.
on the agenda. I'll go tell Nyla not to.
It'll be different because there'll be another month's
Interest.
interest added on.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
We could go to 14 and we'll wait for the end of it.
Okay, we'll table that. Discussion regarding state's attorney's office computer.
Actually, Kathy's, I just wanted to let you know Kathy's hard drive went on her computer, so we had to get a new one quickly. Mine was blew about 8 months ago, and mine was covered under warranty, so all I had to pay for was the transportation. Hers was not covered under warranty, and it's 3 years old, so we just ended up buying a new one. So I wanted to let you know that. It's like $2,500. So you knew that when you saw that coming through the bills, like what the heck's a new computer on there for? But her hard drive, both the hard drives on their exact same computers, hers went 8 months after mine, but mine was covered under warranty. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is on my budget, you're gonna notice that we're gonna run over on medical coverage for me because I did not budget 6 months of medical coverage for myself because I was on private insurance through the National Guard, and since I retired, it's been, what, about $1,000 a month that comes out in addition to what we budgeted for. So you're gonna see that our medical insurance costs probably gonna run 6,000 or 7,000 over, wouldn't you say, Becky? Somewhere in that ballpark.
I'd have to look.
But that's all I wanted to tell you.
Any questions? Okay, discussion regarding hiring in the auditor's office.
I put that on there because with all the changes in payroll, going to every 2 weeks, we were gonna try this. Well, it's apparently gonna stay that way. There's way more insurances keep adding, there's, the HSA is gonna cause kind of a headache. We don't have time to get everything done. There's just not enough time. We work on payroll, 2 people, 4 days every other week. We've got the election coming up. We have the audit coming up. Next year is gonna be absolutely crazy. And I would like to switch my part-time employee to full-time.
I don't have a problem with it.
Just payroll alone, I mean, that would, if we were at once a month, would be huge, wouldn't it?
Penny
Oh,
can
yeah,
attest to
all I
that.
do anymore is payroll, since I went to this every other week pay, period.
That seems like that's all we're doing too.
It's ridiculous the amount of hours I've spent on payroll now. Ridiculous.
And there's poor lane stuff that we wanna get done, but we can't. We cannot take the time for that.
Why not go back to once a month and
We're willing to say it every 2 weeks, 'cause that's what everybody wanted, but we need more help. If that's the case.
I don't think you wanna be flip-flopping payrolls again.
No.
All the employees are so upset with everything that took place last year, where we go for a month, then we have this date to stop payroll, and that date to stop payroll, and that worked for 2 months, and then we switched it to 2 other different dates. And then we went to 2 weeks.
And I mean, our employee we're up to 60 employees now. That makes a huge difference too. When it comes to payroll and deductions and garnishments and things.
It's not hard to figure out if that can't get your work done, and I can see where it's happening there.
We get done what we absolutely need to get done, but
Yeah.
there is stuff that we would like to get done as far as invoicing people that owe report liens and things like that. But there's just not enough time.
And that's gotta get done. There's a lot
what's
of
it costing us to have it every 2 weeks versus once a month? Just in the amount of time. $20 hours a week?
Well, there's 2 people working on payroll for 4 days.
It's a lot more than that though.
That'd be my vote would be, if you need to switch that other person over, then that's what needs to be done. What else are you gonna do? There's only so many hours in a day.
No, I understand that.
And next year is gonna be, it's gonna be a big election year. and they usually have the audit going at the same time. I don't.
So you just need to do part-time and full-time and no additional.
Right. Plus with the part-time, I've only gotten one application. I mean, people, and it's somebody that lives 40 miles from here. People need benefits now.
Are you gonna still have the two girls that you have now?
No, Aubriana's leaving the end of the year to go to school. And so I've been advertising for a part-time to replace her, but we would like to switch that to full-time. That's all, that's what I'm requesting, so it's gonna be what, Ryan, we figured about 30,000 for my budget for next year to be changed. Compared to what was budgeted for the part-time person to go to full-time. That's just for insurance, mainly for insurance purposes.
So you would be, you should change this to a full-time and advertising for a full-time.
Change the advertisement to full-time instead of just part-time, yeah. And then I would need, we figured about a $30,000 increase in my budget for next year.
So next year for election time, would you need part-time?
No. And we usually do work extra hours then, but it usually doesn't amount to too much.
We have to have a motion on that.
Because of the $30,000 budget increase, we would. I do have on the agenda next to approve annual budget changes. That's not just for this, it's for, we had stored CPI that the state informed us of that has to do with rounding, I think. Right, Deb?
Yeah, I'm not
Because
sure.
we've always used our max, but for some reason we had, what was it, 2.9, I think?
Because you can now store that for 5 years, I think, right?
I think it's only 3.
But they go out like 4 places and they don't go out that much, so you end up with rounding difference and they store that difference.
So anyways, the changes that are gonna be made is going to increase, as soon as I find it. It's gonna decrease our cash balance applied, what we have to take of cash on hand, by the amount that we can raise the taxes because of the stored CPI. If I didn't use it, we would have lost 0.4 of it. So we just decided to use it all in 1 year, that way next year we can increase by that much as well. So it will decrease the cash balance applied to the general fund by $60,515. And I can get you guys a copy of that if you want, because I just printed it out somewhere. So that's for the general fund. The road and bridge is gonna decrease the cash balance applied by $822, and the fire is gonna decrease by $158. So the tax revenue is gonna increase by those amounts. And that is included in this approved budget. We already made the changes, I resent it and we approved it. So I just need a motion to approve the changes by you guys. And then if you want to approve the request, then I could switch that by 30,000, which will increase the auditor's salary by 30,000 and increase the cash balance applied.
I'll make a motion to approve the 30,000 and change it from part-time to full-time. We'll do that one first and then we'll do the other one.
Okay.
Do you have a second to that?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those, do you understand that, Jim?
Yeah, yep,
Okay,
yes,
okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, consider a motion to approve annual budget changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual budget changes.
Can I have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion has been made and second to approve annual budget changes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Pass. Okay. Consider motion to approve plot of tract one Biersbach addition in SE Southeast 4, Northeast 4, STR 31-2121-75.
I would so move, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, everything has been, all the criteria is met, the taxes have been paid. It's a 20-acre, approximately 20 acres that they're planning off to sell, selling it out of a 120 acre section.
Okay, motion has been made to approve that. Any second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed,
Aye.
nay. Opposed, nay. Okay, that's passed. Any old business? Any new business? Jim is going to do a party for the employees in Acaska on December the 2nd. And it's for employees and their spouses. And I would like to have a motion that we pay for the bills for that. Okay. We did that in the past.
It would go out of contingency because there's no money left in the commissioner's budget.
Can we have a
No
motion?
money there.
Then what do you do? They want to charge the people when they come in?
Who set up the date and time for this?
Jim told me to do it. Jim,
Yes?
we're discussing the employee appreciation party. I don't know if you can hear very well.
I can hear part of it.
Okay. Dave wanted to make a motion to pay it out of the commissioner's budget.
And I think I would abstain from that discussion. We're gonna have it anyway, so that would be up to the rest of the board.
And when you told me to go ahead and do it, I said that, you know, that I don't know where it would be paid out of because the commissioner's out of money, and he said he's doing it no matter what, so I just sent that out. So I don't know what you guys wanna do. It's up to you.
If the money's not there, the money's not there, so it's something. All the employees don't go, and that's their own choice, but.
I'll discuss this with you, Jim.
Okay?
Okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. Any other new business? Can I have a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.